Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we cut through the noise and get to the heart of what truly matters. Today, we're plunging into a fascinating paradox. We've embraced remote work, invested heavily in shiny new tools, promised flexibility to countless teams. So why do so many still feel trapped, maybe even monitored, rather than truly free?
It's a pervasive feeling, isn't it? Despite this, massive shift to distributed work, we constantly hear about teams being what we call marker managed.
Marker manage.
Yeah, like their performance is too often measured by, say, screen time.
Yeah.
And managers, sometimes overtly, sometimes not, express frustration about a lack of visibility into their remote teams.
And that's the strange twist. We've granted physical freedom only to painstakingly reconstruct the old control structures digitally.
Exactly.
It almost feels like a default setting, maybe driven by a systematic thinking mindset, that deep assumption that people are inherently lazy or untrustworthy, so they must be monitored.
Well, that's a crucial point. Is it always conscious? Probably not. It's
Yeah.
rarely malicious, I think. But the consequence is severe.
How so?
Well, this outdated approach carries immense risk, especially in today's global talent market.
Hmm.
I mean, think about it. As AI increasingly enables more distributed, more asynchronous ways of working,
Right.
are we truly ready to limit our AI implementation capabilities to teams within, what, a 30-mile commute radius? That's not just limiting, it's a strategic liability.
It sounds like we're stifling potential, really. So our mission for this deep dive is clear. Move beyond this digital surveillance in the workplace and figure out how to build truly autonomous, high-performing, distributed teams.
Let's do it.
Okay, let's start by dissecting this illusion of freedom.
Precisely. We've loaded up on sophisticated remote work tools, Slack, Teams, Zoom, all that stuff, and they are vital for communication. Absolutely.
Right.
But they are not inherently remote autonomy tools. Just having them doesn't automatically grant decision-making freedom or, empower teams.
And what seems particularly insidious here is how the misuse of these tools often reinforces that visibility-based control. We start using the data they provide for purposes far beyond their original design, sometimes maybe subconsciously driven by that underlying distrust we just talked about.
It's like having a helpful communication highway, but then turning it into a constant surveillance camera. That's a good analogy.
Yeah.
And this leads directly to the always-on culture. Workers feel this intense pressure to appear active rather than focusing on being effective.
Right. The focus shifts entirely to looking busy, not on creating meaningful output. Are you busy or just busy looking busy?
Exactly. There's a profound difference, and it just drains morale.
And it creates so much unnecessary stress, constant status check meetings, the expectation that you're always online, instantly responsive. It means people are constantly looking over their shoulders, worried about compliance, instead of just focusing on the actual work.
It's digital micromanagement. It mimics that in-office hovering behavior, and sadly, it even mirrors, social media norms where a delayed reply can somehow cause offense.
We're normalizing some really counterproductive expectations.
And this leads to some really common and, frankly, incredibly costly failure patterns. You see managers frequently equating silence with disengagement.
When really someone could just be deep in thought, doing the work.
Exactly. I could just be thinking. And teams, in turn, become conditioned. They learn to wait for direction instead of taking initiative.
Yeah, I often hear leaders complain about that. Teams aren't efficiently engaged or individuals aren't invested.
But if we've systematically conditioned everyone to act only when told, why would we expect anything different?
It's a cycle. People are waiting for instructions, not thinking for themselves or feeling that sense of ownership.
And the real cost of this lack of autonomy, it's significant Dorado work.
The rework.
Yes. Miscommunication, misaligned expectations, lack of clarity on deliverables or decision rights. It all leads to wasted time, wasted revenue as teams have to retrace steps and fix things. It's incredibly inefficient and demoralizing.
Okay, so we've laid out the problem, the digital chains, the costs, but at the heart of it, there seems to be a deeper psychological barrier we need to confront, and that's trust.
Absolutely. The physical distance inherent in remote work creates a perceived risk. It triggers an unconscious distrust because fundamentally I can't see it, so I fear it.
That makes sense.
Managers genuinely feel they're losing control and visibility. From my own agile journey, I can tell you confronting this dilemma, having responsibility for delivery without knowing all the granular details that could be truly scary, especially if you have a perfectionist streak.
I get that feeling of being blindfolded, yeah. But what's truly fascinating is the immense payoff when we push past that fear.
Tell me more.
Well, when you genuinely empower and create an autonomous team, truly wonderful things start happening. As leaders, you suddenly find yourself making far fewer decisions, right?
Mhm.
And the ones you do make are the really big, meaningful ones. You gain mental space to focus on strategy, not the day-to-day execution details. It's transformative. This perception of uncertainty when dealing with remote teams, it often becomes a block in itself. The key is to manage that uncertainty not through more oversight or tools, but through fostering a resilient, trusting culture.
Okay, so culture over oversight. If trust is the bedrock, what are some practical ways, maybe even counterintuitive ways, we can actually build that trust in a virtual space? Let's talk strategies. Maybe start with cultivating clarity and trust.
Right. First, establishing a truly clear purpose with your teams is paramount. It's not just like a mission statement on a wall.
No.
It's about equipping every single team member to articulate how their specific deliverable contributes to the customer's end value. We often see teams define purpose too broadly, which leads to micro-alignment, not macro-autonomy.
So clarity isn't just more detail?
No, it's more shared meaning. When that's clear, the need for micromanagement just drastically drops, and results naturally improve.
And trust isn't automatic, is it? It's earned. Definitely earned. Through consistent delivery and open communications, it's absolutely critical to provide teams with the psychological safety to fail, especially at the beginning as they learn to run with the ball.
Learning curve.
Yeah. Once they consistently deliver and you maintain that open communication, that transparency, trust solidifies. It makes everything much, much easier.
And here's a key point, I think. We must actively avoid overstructuring things just for the sake of control.
Oh, absolutely. It completely backfires. It disempowers teams, leads to disengagement, and ironically, it ends up requiring more managerial direction.
You create this puppeteering dynamic.
Exactly. Teams get conditioned not to think for themselves. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy of dependency.
Okay, so if we want to build trust virtually, what mechanisms actually work better than, say, those endless formal status meetings?
It's about low-friction check-ins. Much better than those heavy formal status meetings. Casual interactions, they build personal connections, and you actually get more real information because people are more relaxed, more open.
Makes sense.
And remember to share context, not just tasks. Discuss the why, the broader context, the importance, the stakeholders, the outcome you're aiming for, rather than just the granular tasks.
Right.
Leave the task and the implementation to the teams. That's what we pay them for. Let them figure it out.
And is it okay for leaders to show a bit of vulnerability sometimes? Like saying, team, I'm getting really nervous about this deadline. Could you help me out with understanding where we are?
Oh, absolutely. It often leads to incredibly positive team reactions. It builds empathy and clarifies what's actually useful for them to communicate back to you. It's a two-way street.
That's good. And short feedback cycles seem crucial too.
Critical, both for team trust and stakeholder trust. Frequent delivery means frequent opportunities for feedback. Now, initially, there might be a need for maybe more frequent communication.
A bit more hand-holding at first.
Sort of, yeah. But as trust builds, it smooths out. You create this really nice rhythm of execution. Think of it like learning a new dance. A few awkward steps at first, then you find a smooth flow. Nice analogy. Okay, next up, metrics. The shift to outcome-focused metrics. There's that wisdom. What counts is what's counted and how we count it.
This is so true, and it highlights a major pitfall. Activity-based metrics. Ugh, they can be horrifying.
Examples.
Measuring keystrokes, hours logged in, using eye-tracking cameras. It just kills autonomy. It destroys human interactions.
How so?
Well, imagine if you're encouraged to collaborate, but your eye-tracking software penalizes you for looking away from your screen to talk to a colleague.
That's absurd.
People will literally avoid genuine collaboration just to keep their eyes glued to the monitor. Or, I've heard stories, people setting up a toy bird on a spring next to their webcam, just so it jiggles slightly to look present if they step away.
Oh my goodness. That's incredibly counterproductive. So this shift has to be away from compliance and monitoring.
It's in towards outcomes. The key question becomes, are we delivering on the outcome that we all agreed to? Everything else is secondary, really just a distraction.
And outcome-focused metrics send trust signals, powerful ones. They emphasize what was delivered, not how many hours or keystrokes it took. This aligns goals directly to customer value. And it allows for diverse working styles, different time zones, just like we understand different learning styles for kids, right?
Exactly.
Forget measuring hours and keystrokes. Focus on team delivery and customer satisfaction.
Okay, building on that trust and outcome focus,
Hmm,
how do we ensure transparency without sliding back into surveillance?
good question. Things like Kanban-style visibility can be great here.
Now, when you say Kanban style visibility, for those who might not be charting every sprint, what's the key thing that makes it transparency, not surveillance?
It's the focus on visualizing flow, seeing where work is, how it's moving, not just who's doing what task right now.
Okay.
It provides real-time visibility that benefits everyone. Teams can spot potential trouble with a WIP item, a bottleneck maybe, and leadership can see overall progress across different initiatives, facilitating help where it's truly needed.
So it's about helping not to inspect, not to grade,
Precisely. Empowering, not controlling.
and sharing outcomes broadly through demos, reviews, maybe story-based updates.
Absolutely invaluable. This information helps the entire organization stay aligned and enables help to come from unexpected places sometimes. It's transparency that supports, not controls.
Communication itself needs strategy, right? Especially for worldwide distributed teams.
Oh, definitely. You have to make that critical decision. Which communications need to be synchronous, real-time, and which can be asynchronous.
And there's no single right answer.
No. Synchronous is necessary for deep collaboration, brainstorming, quick decisions sometimes. But for deep, focused work, asynchronous is often much better. Don't force a single standard.
And respect people's time zones and energy levels.
Yes, people are often incredibly flexible. They might be perfectly willing to wake up in the middle of their night for a truly valuable interactive meeting that moves things forward significantly.
But not for a pointless status update or just to replicate being in the office.
Exactly. They won't be happy to commute to an office for it, that's for sure. Respect time differences, natural energy peaks. The key is to align your communication choices, synchronous or asynchronous, with the speed of decision-making required. If an immediate decision isn't needed, asynchronous often works beautifully.
This seems linked to purposeful documentation and transparent decisions.
It is. Documentation, when done right, isn't about bureaucracy or control. It's about establishing shared understanding. It's about teaching present and future team members. It clarifies thinking and preserves crucial institutional knowledge.
And decision logs, you mentioned those earlier.
They are invaluable,
No.
seriously. They document the journey that led to where you are now. They provide historical context for current and future teams, kind of like an aircraft's black box, but for decisions. It significantly reduces friction and misunderstanding for asynchronous teams because the why behind choices is preserved.
That makes a lot of sense. And decisions themselves, default to open.
Default to public channels? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Unless there's a genuine privacy reason. Clarify how decisions are made, who was involved, and why. This broad visibility helps align distributed efforts much better than that old game of telephone you get when filtered. Centralized decisions slowly trickle down through management layers.
Okay, finally, let's talk about leadership's role in making all this happen. It sounds absolutely critical. What changes do leaders need to embrace?
Several things. Role rotations can be really powerful.
Like what?
Like having a rotating devil's advocate role in retrospectives, for example. It unlocks distributed accountability, builds shared ownership. It also encourages empathy for different roles. You understand why someone needs certain information when you've had to play their part. It reduces bottlenecks, fosters better interactions.
And recognizing expertise over hierarchy.
Yes, leaders must challenge the assumption that title always equates to the best decision. Influence should emerge from value, from insight, not just seniority or who has the loudest voice.
That newcomer might have the key insight.
Exactly. Someone completely new to the team might have the most valuable fresh perspective, precisely because they're not bogged down by existing assumptions or the way we've always done it. Leaders should actively use facilitated formats to help share information and bring out those diverse voices.
How does coordination happen without direct control?
Coordination emerges through a combination of clear structure, those shared goals we talked about, the anchor and deep trust. When teams have those shared goals, they can be trusted to coordinate the execution themselves. Encourage initiative taking, encourage collaboration between teams, not just within them. Trust allows for faster decisions that happen closer to the actual work.
And that idea of tight alignment on what, loose coupling on how.
Oh, that is so critical, especially for product and service management in worldwide distributed teams. Align tightly on the goals, the what, but allow loose coupling on the execution, the how.
Why is that so important?
Because centralized mandates on how to implement solutions often create immense friction. They ignore crucial regional, local, or cultural considerations. Decoupling these lets teams adapt and implement solutions in the best way for their specific context. Much more effective.
So when we see organizations struggling with this whole shift to
Right.
autonomy, what are the big warning signs?
Usually pretty clear signs. Management just not letting go of those implementation details. Or you hear managers complaining that teams don't take initiative or aren't engaged.
Which, as we discussed, might be because they've been conditioned not to.
Precisely.
Right. It really all boils down to achieving alignment without control. And I think we've all experienced the soul-crushing effects of micromanagement, of excessive control.
Hmm.
It's demoralizing, it's disempowering, and frankly, it prevents us from doing our best, most creative work. Just imagine the immense potential that could be unleashed if you truly grant that freedom.
It truly is a potential game changer for modern organizations adapting to this new world of work.
So, to everyone listening, we'd love to hear from you. Have you ever felt micromanaged remotely? How did it actually make you feel? And perhaps, if you were able to overcome it, how did you do it? Share your experiences with us. And if you'd like to learn even more about why managing the details of work implementation actually slows you down, potentially to failure, you can click one of the links in the description below. They'll take you deeper into the source video we've been discussing.